You're basically thinking Death Rogan clan and like what would have they members? That's like the closest. You like
Jay Baruchel or something like that.
we put on a few.
Yeah, he just plays a good romantic lead, doesn't he? But like you were saying, James, and just the way that his character was very laid back and all of that, and but they did look after the character story. That was quite nicely as well. And like you say, he was very laid back and all this carefree, whatever, life doesn't matter. But then at the same time, when Christina Miliotti's character drives into Roy into the car, and he's there like the pain is real. Like you've got to get your head around that. Like he still has that kind of just a greater level of knowledge than she does about what it's like living in this kind of situation that you're in. That the pain is real. They may not feel it when the day resets, but you remember it. There is a little bit more to it than just like living your life however you want to live it, and just being so carefree. Is that there's also that little bit inside you that if you kill someone, you've killed someone. Still, it's you remember it. So there's more to the characters than that. They obviously don't explore it massively because you don't need to, but it's still nice to see those little moments like that. And like she well, at that point she's sort of going a bit mad then, because she then starts to realise that twist with her character and why when she wakes up in the morning. I quite like that as well, because I didn't actually see that coming at all, as a reason for her to be like sort of turns it completely, and you're like, oh, you're quite a bad person actually. So that was quite a nice little twist in there as well.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that would be. I could tell that she had us just by the way that she was talking about how resistant she was to when he was talking about how meaningless the past is. Like you could tell that there was something there that she was like holding on to, that she felt mad, but I couldn't guess what the hell it was. So that surprised me.
Yeah. What? Go on, James.
No, I was going to say, I think actually, now that we're talking about it, I'm remembering some more things about the film, and you've touched upon, Guy, probably the thing which I feel the film maybe did best for me is that it actually struck that balance between going into some of the mentally like detrimental effects of that cyclical of life, and what that would actually entail, and how you essentially just try to numb your own engrams, your memories about what you've been doing, to the point where he'd completely forgotten what his job was before he'd got into this loop. And it got into that, and then a little bit of theory behind how they could potentially break the cycle without going into way too much detail into it, and still remembering that it was a comedy at heart, and it had just enough to make everything seem believable, but at the same time focus on doing all the stupid funny shit that you would expect to see within a comedy movie, and not sacrificing it for anything else, which I thought was good.
The emotional and psychological part of it is actually deep as hell. Like, it's so deep. The thing, if you imagine yourself in those shoes, like, how terrible.
Did anyone understand the dinosaur bit?
Well, they were on shrooms or whatever at the time.
They were tripping.
They were tripping.
That's all it was meant to be. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Did you accept the way that the ending was sort of like?
I'm glad. I was a bit worried at first. I thought they were just going to leave J.K. Simmons there for eternity.
Oh,
that was a bit harsh, considering and then they dropped that line that she dropped the text, and obviously he'd be able to figure out problems. So I thought that was I was really worried that they were just going to
a little
leave
bit
him
of
there
me,
forevermore. So he actually ended up to be quite a nice guy.
A little bit of me actually thought when they not spoilers, but when they bang, I was like, you could end the film there and not actually tell us whether or not they do go back or not. And I thought that could have worked like that. Obviously, they need to tie loose ends in these American rom-coms and stuff like that, just to please the masses. But I was like, it would have been pretty cool if you just stopped right there, and then we never know.
Seconds at the end.
Huh?
I thought that was quite good, because they're feel-good films, aren't they? So it just adds a little sprinkle to it.
Yeah.
Not that I get sucked into the romantic Americanism of it, but yes, I do. I love it. I want to.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. I was like, excellent. I feel good now.
Yeah. All right. Well, because you loved it so much, Tom, what did you dislike about it?
I think it dislikes anything about it.
Because it says 10 out of 10.
Nothing's like offensive. Like there's no bad element to it.
Absolutely loved it. So it's a 6.0 from you.
It's a Channel 5.
It's not the funniest film you'll ever watch. Like it's not like Dumb and Dumber, which is or like Superbad, or we did a comedy section, didn't we? It's not going to break into like our favourite comedy films all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a really good. What was that one we watched? Where we watched Inherent Vice, and it was like kind of hard to think of anything bad about it. It was just like a good film the whole way through. Although I probably prefer this to Inherent Vice.
Very different, very different. I know, very different.
But not having negatives doesn't mean it's the best film of all time.
I always have that kind of understanding that rom-coms, they really struggle to break out of a certain bracket of a rating. You know, how very infrequently do you get a 5-star rom-com, for example. I think the highest I've ever given a rom-com that I've seen to review is 4, and that was, did anyone see Long Shot with Charlize Theron? And said that was a good ass rom-com, man. I really, really enjoyed that. But it's a 4-star because it was not the complete thing that would put it in the same bracket as so many of these incredible 5-star films.
Crazy Stupid Love, I think that's close to me. Crazy Stupid Love up there. I fucking rate that film.
So they come along so infrequently, don't they? But
which I think is interesting.
Chuck
You mentioned About Time.
About Time.
Which again is another time travel spin. That's absolutely top tier.
What Happens in Vegas? I love that.
In what, sorry?
I love What Happens in Vegas.
What Happens in Vegas is a good one. That is a good one. So dislikes in particular. Is there anything in particular that grind on people? For the first 45 minutes or so, I did keep thinking like this is just Groundhog Day, and I know they then sort of go into a bit deeper and explore it more, and then take it on a different avenue in terms of the meaning behind it all and the science and all that kind of stuff. But there was a little bit of me that was like, it's just 30% of it is just a rip-off.
But like, I know what you mean, but then to a certain extent they were so flippant with it. Like the characters were so flippant with the central conceit. Sandberg was so like nonchalant about the shit that was happening, and it was taken so undramatically that I just figured like they know it. The film knows it so well. It's not being made for the plot's sake. It's being made to see what the plot can do for the characters and the laughs. So I was fine on that front.
If they cracked a joke specifically about the fact that, obviously it's an infinite time loop. You must know what infinite time loops are because there's so many films about it.
Yeah,
it was self-aware. It was.
Yeah. It was full breaking to a certain extent. So.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular then that people didn't like? I'm just with rounding this review off rather sooner than expected because there's a little less to talk about it in general.
I agree with what Tom says,
but it's good fun.
I'm happy to rate it if everyone else is.
Yeah, it's all good fun. Obviously, rom-coms and stuff have their flaws and stuff in terms of a grander picture, but as rom-coms go, it's good fun watch. So James, it was your pick. So what are you going to give Palm Springs?
I give Palm Springs a 7.7.
Jem?
7.4.
7.4. Liam?
I'd give it a 7.4.
Tom?
I really want to give it an 8.
Wow.
Do it, whatever you want. No, I shouldn't because it's not that good of a film. But like, I came away from watching it going, that was a really good hour and a half that I just spent, or however long it is. It's quite short, isn't it?
Wow.
Give it an 8, man. Why not?
Give it an 8.
Just let it go.
I'm going to go against my stereotype that you've all given me, and I'm going to give it an 8.
8. See,
that's a naughty guy.
That means I'm the cynic in the group this week. Admittedly, this roundtable has pulled it up a little bit in my ratings because I was actually going to give it a 6.7 originally.
Really?
Yeah. But I'll give it this roundtable the whole way through. I've written I had 6.7. I've scratched that. I'll give it 6.8. I'll give it 6.9 now because it is a rip-off. like full stop. I enjoyed it and everything, but it depends how you're looking at it. Again, see, I like to look at these as whether they're a good film or not an enjoyment level. Enjoyment level, I give it like a 9 because it was good fun and I enjoyed watching it. But as a film, it's not.
You don't enjoy watching Schindler's List, but it's great.
As a film, it's not.
Are you saying that a film has to be fully novel for you to give it a higher rating? Because I don't agree with that.
6.9 is not bad.
Films can rip off each other's ideas and or use their ideas and execute them in better ways.
6.9 isn't bad. 6.9 is a high 3-star rating if you're doing on star reviews. I'd say 7 is the bottom of the 4-star in my mind.
I think James is asking: are you pumping up to like a 7.8 if the idea is completely original? Does originality factor in quite heavily for you when you're rating a film?
Not really heavily, but it's still a percentage of it. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to watch something that is the same as you like 20% of it. You can't be sat there being like, well, I've seen most of this premise in another film.
That's what differentiates a lot of the great ones, like we're talking about, like About Time.
It's something we've just never seen before in terms of what it's about and how they do it, and it's good. It's the humor's fine. It's American humor, like fair enough. You smile and you laugh at a few things, but if it's going to be a comedy, maybe I'd like to laugh out loud a little bit more. But 6.9 for me. 6.9 for me is not a bad rating. It's like that's fine. It's a film you'd be like, yeah. If I was just wanting to chuck a film on, I'd be like, oh, Palm Springs, yeah, that's a good laugh. That's fine. But it's not up there in the. If I was doing a written review, it wouldn't be in the 4-star bracket for me. It'd be a 3, but it'd be a high 3. So
you need to break all this 5-star framework. You tied yourself up to, guys.
It's what about 200 of the reviews on QTAS are rated by? So it would kind of skewer the rating system if we did.
The Roundtable, you've got to let that.
Just double them all. You're fine.
7.4 overall then, which I imagine most would be fairly happy about because 2 of you gave it 7.4. Palm Springs. That's the first comedy we've done because Amelie's not particular comedy, is it? It's sort of along the lines, but it's different. It's a more art house, and that's it as far as the comedies, isn't it? I don't think that's the first bang on the nose comedy. 7.4 for Palm Springs, not bad.